As she hurried down the village path, she saw Marcus coming and ran to him. Marcus, you can't leave. I love you. We have to stay together no matter what. She cried out, holding his hands. She was afraid he would disappear if she let him go. Marcus was touched that she was willing to fight for their love. Once upon a time, nestled in the heart of a lush green valley, lay the village of Fulani. At its center was Princess Liora, revered not only for her loyal lineage, but also for her remarkable skill as the village's only medical doctor. After the tragic loss of her mother to an illness that could have been treated with proper medical care, Liora dedicated herself to the healing arts. In Uleni, Princess Liora was both revered and somewhat isolated because many young villagers who had pursued medical studies and other professionals sought opportunities in bustling cities, drawn by promises of advanced education and modern facilities. Liora was the only one who chose differently. She remained steadfast, tending to her people's ailments and determined to provide them with adequate health care. One crisp autumn morning, in the bustling marketplace of Uleni, Princess Liora was overseeing a community fair she had organized. As villagers gathered around booths offering herbal remedies and other items. Dressed in traditional attire, her royal heritage evident with a stethoscope draped around her neck, Liora greeted each person warmly, her dedication apparent in every gesture. Amidst the crowd, a developer named Marcus arrived, exuding confidence and accompanied by his team of architects and planners. Liora observed him, noting the polished appearance and the earnestness with which he engaged the villagers. She had grown weary of outsiders who came to Leni with promises of change without understanding the village's unique needs. Yet, as the princess of Uleni, she maintained her politeness despite her reservations. Marcus, tall and charismatic, quickly captured the attention of the villagers, including King Adisa and his council of chiefs with his plans to modernize parts of the village. He brought blueprints and visions of progress, which the king and his council, after deliberation, found appealing. However, Princess Liora remained unimpressed. Marcus, captivated by her beauty, attempted to draw her close, but she rebuffed his advances. Nevertheless, Marcus was undeterred. He saw more in Liora than just a princess. He admired her compassion, love, and dedication to her people. To the villagers of Uleni, Liora was not merely their princess, she was a beacon of hope and healing. One serene afternoon, Princess Liora was making her usual rounds, checking on patients and offering health advice. As she strolled along a quiet path shaded by the forest, she glimpsed Marcus in a distance, kneeling beside an elderly woman who had stumbled near the path. Liora paused, hidden by the foliage, watching silently as Marcus gently helped the woman to her feet. His demeanor was unexpectedly gentle, his voice calm and reassuring as he checked if she was hurt. He dusted off the dirt from her clothes, offering comforting words that brought a faint smile to the woman's face. Oblivious to any observers, Marcus escorted the elderly woman back to her home, ensuring she was settled before quietly returning to his task. Liora, having witnessed the scene, felt a shift within her. It was a simple act of kindness, unassuming and genuine, that painted Marcus in a new light, a light she hadn't seen before. In that secluded moment, Princess Leora's perception of Marcus underwent a subtle transformation. She realized that beneath his ambitious exterior lay a person of compassion and sincerity, qualities that resonated deeply with her own values. In the days that followed Marcus' acts of kindness, Princess Leora found herself reflecting on the encounter. She couldn't shake the image of Marcus, so different from her initial impression of him as an outsider driven solely by ambition. His genuine compassion for the villagers and his respect for their traditions resonated with her deeply. As they crossed paths during community gatherings and village meetings, Liora noticed subtle changes in her interactions with Marcus. Their conversations, once marked by guarded skepticism, now flowed more easily as they discussed Uleni's future and the balance between progress and preservation. Marcus sought out her opinions, valuing her insights on matters close to her heart, the health and well-being of the villagers. In quiet moments beneath the shade of the mango trees or during twilight gatherings, Liora and Marcus found themselves drawn together by a shared vision for Uleni. They debated, challenged each other's perspective, and discovered common ground despite their differing backgrounds. Marcus' ability to listen, adapt, and genuinely care about the villagers' welfare gradually won Leora's admiration and unexpectedly her heart. Their relationship blossomed slowly, nurtured by mutual respect, shared experiences, and a growing affection that neither could deny. Marcus continued to surprise Liora with his thoughtfulness and sincerity, while Leora's unwavering dedication to her people and her resilience in the face of challenges inspired Marcus in ways he had never imagined. As their love for each other deepened, so did the concern of the villagers. Rumors spread of Marcus' intention and fears that he might lure Riola away from Uleni, leaving them without their beloved doctor. People began to speculate how long it would take before Princess Leora packed up and followed Marcus to the city. The fear of losing the only doctor they had and what would become of the Uleni people gripped the villagers. It gazed to a head that the matter was brought before the king. A tense atmosphere settled over the king's council as the elders and chiefs gathered to discuss the glowing dilemma posed by Marcus' relationship with Princess Leora. Chief Achinu spoke first, his voice carrying a weight of concern. We cannot deny the benefit of Marcus' development plans, but we cannot risk losing Princess Leora either. She is our only doctor, the pillar of our health and well-being. Another elder nodded solemnly. Marcus may mean well, but his influence on the princess could lead her away from us. We must act before it is too late. King Adisa, conflicted by his dual roles as a father and a leader, interjected. But what about the princess' happiness? If the city boy is the one she loves, who can't stand in his way? Your Majesty, have you forgotten the health state of the people of Uleni before the princess became the village doctor? Because of the unavailability of health care services in this village, a lot of our women died at childbirth because of complications. Remember your wife, our beloved queen. Chief Achinu argued, giving reasons why they could not risk losing Liora to the city, and all the chiefs agreed with him.
Before Princess Liora returned to the village as a medical doctor, her people suffered greatly due to lack of access to medical services. The only hospital they could go to was 2 hours away, making it impossible to get there in time during emergencies. We must ensure Princess Leora remains here where she is needed most, another elder insisted. Meanwhile, Marcus and the princess, unaware that their future together was being decided by the elders at that moment, spent their day together. Marcus, after assigning work to his team, went to meet Liora at the clinic and followed her to do her rounds around the village. As they walked around the village, people admired them and commented how their love was ordained by heavens. Both Princess Liora and Marcus were kind and compassionate. They cared for the people and would go the extra mile to help them. Immediately Chief Achenu got home, he called his beautiful daughter Sema and instructed her to do everything possible to get Marcus to marry her. Sema told his father that she had tried several times to gain Marcus' attention, but his eyes were always fixed on Liora. Chief Achenu then told his daughter what had transpired at the council's meeting. He assured her that Marcus will never be allowed to marry the princess, so he must do whatever possible to make sure that Marcus fell in love with her and take her to the city where he lives. The day following the council meeting, Marcus was summoned before the king and the chiefs. The atmosphere was tense, the chiefs' expressions grave and their voices hushed, making Marcus to wonder what had gone wrong. Marcus, King Adisa began, his tone weighed with reluctance. After careful consideration, we have decided to withdraw our support for your development plans in Uleni. Marcus' brow furrowed in confusion. Your Majesty, may I ask why? He inquired, unable to conceal his surprise. I thought we had discussed this and agreed that it is a step forward for the village. Yes, we agreed on the plan, but now we have decided not to move forward with it, the king said. Chief Achenu, seated at the king's side, exchanged glances with other elders before he said, Marcus, it is not about the plans themselves. Our people have expressed concerns about the damage the development will do to our culture and way of life. But I care deeply for Uleni. My intentions were to support the village's growth and prosperity, Marcus argued. Yes, Marcus, we understand your intentions, but perceptions can be as powerful as reality. The elders fear that your plans may disrupt our village's way of life, so we would like you to leave immediately. Leave? Marcus asked, feeling as if he is being run out of town. None of it made sense to him. He had several meetings with the kings and the elders, and every of their concern was addressed and considered in his plan, and they gave their approval. How can they just ask him to pack up and leave when he had already invested a lot of money in the development plan? Marcus was not just disappointed, he felt aggrieved.
When Liora found out that her father and the elders had asked Marcus to leave, she rushed to confront him in his chamber. Father, how could you support the council's decision to reject Marcus' plan? His ideas will bring much needed progress to our village, Liora argued. King Alisa met her gaze with a solemn expression. Liora, A decision has been made. The elders have voiced their concerns, and I must consider the stability of Oleni. But Father, Marcus cares deeply for Oleni. His plans are rooted in improving our lives. Why are you standing in the way of that? The king sighed heavily. It is not about Marcus' intentions. The elders fear his vision may disrupt our traditions and the harmony we've worked hard to maintain. And I must consider their fears as their king. Liora bit her lip, frustration and concern etched on her face. This is not like you, Father. You've always supported progress. My dear, are you sure you're protesting for the sake of our people or for yourself? Yes, I know you care about the city boy, the king said. Liora wasn't surprised that her father knew about her relationship with Marcus. Everyone did. They were often seen strolling through the village, sharing moments under the mango tree by the well. She explained that while she cared about Marcus, her priority was her people, and she believed the king was making a mistake by sending Marcus away. King Hadissa recognized her dedication, felt it was the right choice to send Marcus away before Liora fell deeper in love with him. Later that evening, Marcus and Liora sat under the mango tree, their conversation laden with uncertainty. I don't understand. I've done everything to assure them that my plans will be good for your people, Marcus lamented. I don't understand either. This is so unlike my father. What are you going to do? Marcus explained that he had no choice but to leave. In fact, he was planning to leave 2 days after. What? What about us? I don't want to lose you, Princess Liora cried out. You don't have to. Come with me to the city. I will help you get a good job, Marcus said, not willing to part with the woman he loved. Liora was disappointed to hear him say that. It is true she was deeply in love with him, but she had never considered following him to the city. The idea of abandoning her people had never crossed her mind. She has been hoping that maybe before Marcus finished his projects in the village, he will enjoy village life so much so that he will agree to stay and spend the rest of his life here in the village with her. Now, that plan has been cut short by her father's reckless decision. Marcus was leaving before he could fall in love with Tuleni. I am sorry, Marcus, but I have no intention of leaving this village. My people need me, Liora said. What about me? I need you too. I love you, Liora, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. It was a declaration every girl wants to hear, including Princess Liora. I love you too, Marcus, but I can't leave my people. Marcus could not believe that Liora was choosing her people over him. He loved her deeply, but obviously she didn't love him enough. Marcus stood and left. The princess tried to call him back, but he left angry and hurt.